Welcome everybody. It is according to Low Elo. Today is solo queue sessions number 2.
Episode 2,
Number
guys.
2.
Episode 2. This is just talking about all kinds of things solo queue, really. I mean, not even just solo queue, all things League of Legends related.
And so we
We
have
are
our
joined
yep.
today with a special guest.
You want to introduce yourself?
Hi there, I am the Duke of Doom, or Doom.
Welcome.
I play League of Legends
I'm
and
sorry.
many other games. Yeah,
How
I took enough head injuries as a child.
How long have you been playing League? Let me ask you that.
I have been playing League for about 2.5 years, give or take, right around the beginning of the Season 10 anniversary.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
That's
okay.
like when Senna came out. Did Senna come out at Season 10 anniversary?
Yeah, Senna was brand new when I started playing.
Oof. Okay. So relatively new.
Mm-hmm.
Relatively new to League. Clearly not new to MOBAs because you play that one other special game, right, Doom?
Yep, I play Dota as well.
Sweet.
And how long have you been playing
one.
Dota? Yeah, how long?
I started playing that in 2017, technically, but I wouldn't say I actually played it until like a little bit after I started playing League.
Okay. Question. Are there any champions in the League that are like direct rips from Dota?
I know that they've moved away for sure from direct things. An old one used to be Cassidin. He's one of the easier ones design wise and how his abilities used to work back in the day. Apparently his W used to do a little bit of more mana manipulation, and that has since been removed, and now his W just costs 1 mana.
And it refunds.
Okay.
It still refunds.
And it refunds.
Yeah.
It's a very cheap spell. It doesn't really. But there's a character that had a similar design way back in the day called Animage, and they both are like purplish dudes who really hate mana kind of problems. Animage, his thing is to destroy someone's mana, where Cassidin wants as much mana as possible.
Interesting.
Is Animage the one that's like extremely difficult to play if you don't know what you're doing?
Nowadays, yes. He's fallen out of the meta, but I would say he's not the hardest thing in the world. Like Dota, the way you play Dota is a lot different than the way you play League.
How many heroes? They're called heroes, right?
Good question. Probably heroes.
How many are there in the game?
I'm not sure the exact number. I know it's over 100. I think it's 120 some.
I think we said this last time out. I played Dota maybe once. I tried to get through like the tutorial, and I just was like, nope.
Ha, that's funny. What tutorial?
Oh, or whatever bot game. I don't know what I was doing.
If you think the League of Legends tutorial was bad, the old Dota tutorial was even worse. Because
I mean, the tutorial for League has changed. I remember the one I did it was on ARAM. Pretty sure you're on on Howling Abyss, and you played as Ash.
Was it Howling Abyss or was it still Murder Bridge? I think it was still Murder Bridge for the tutorial, as Ash or Garen.
I know now the League of Legends tutorial now
totally different.
It's on the big problem with the League of Legends tutorial is there is no punishment for doing things that you shouldn't. Like the towers can't kill you, so they'll only like reduce you to like 10% health or something like that. But the Dota one, the bots literally like feed into you at a certain point, and they let you build whatever items you want, and like they're always like it'll work out because they buff up your damage a bit. It's just not good for a new player, and the complications that Dota is, especially with builds, is not friendly if it just lets you do whatever.
That's fair. That's fair. I know Dota can be obviously a lot more difficult, and it also could be a lot more strategic though, because the fact that you can literally kill your own minions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's weird.
I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, I can definitely see like I'm surprised you play both games. I'll put it that way because it's rather confusing to play more than one MOBA. They're not like they're not like first-person shooters where you can jump back and forth between Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever, and then pick up the small mechanics here versus there. I feel like the mechanics are so different, and with the champion pools and the items and like the amount of thought you have to have.
Also, I feel it is definitely weird if you're playing both at the same time. It's like since I've been playing League way more, the one time I tried Dota, I'm like going in expecting it to be like League, and then I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, why is this not like this? And I'm just like, oh, I'm just dumb.
Oh yeah.
A while ago, I actually went through and counted how many skill shots there were in Dota, like ones that would be similar to League skill shots, and I got like 40, maybe 40 abilities.
That seems low.
Yeah,
it's rather low.
The differences are pretty. There's enough of a difference between the two games where there's a reason I play both because of how different they are. So, like, League of Legends is a lot more. It's me who's making the decisions on stuff, and it's like me who is the good player. Like, you can match up against anyone in League of Legends and maybe win. In Dota, sometimes maybe not. There's a couple characters that, like, straight up hard counter. Like, you pick this character very last, or else you're gonna get countered and you're gonna lose.
I hate that kind of pick.
Yeah, so like, what do you guys think like the hardest counter is in League?
Like, as in champion wise? Like,
yeah,
to another champion?
Yeah, champion versus champion.
I feel like
I almost want to say Morgana into Blitz is a pretty fucking hard counter, but I mean, you can play around it. That's the thing. Is like, I don't know if there's anything that's like a dead hard counter. The fact that you can play around a lot of stuff.
I was gonna say Braum destroys like a good majority of champions with skill shots.
Braum to Sona, that's a really hard counter.
Just the fact that Braum's shield can just, like, the one to think of is the Ornn ult. Like, you just completely just negate the Ornn ult. Like, that's broken. That's so broken that his basic ability could just stop an ult. It could stop every skill shot, aside from like a blitz hook, because you're gonna get hooked in. But like, just that's a strong ability. I feel like that's slept on.
Yeah.
But you feel like you can play around it because you can move around it.
You definitely can play around it, yeah.
And stuff like that. One of the biggest counters that I've had to deal with recently is there's a character called Winter Wyvern. She's a slowing character. And her ultimate makes it so that she targets a character and everyone goes and beats up that character. And so there are some characters that it doesn't matter that like that happens or that they're attacking their ally. But the character Meepo, a character who summons up to 5 different versions of himself, and they're all kind of clumped together if you're not like spreading them out a bunch.
Oh yeah, that's when
he instantly kills himself if she ults him because he does pure damage and normally has all of his dudes nearby, so you always will murder the crap out of whoever is near Meepo.
That's pretty
There's
funny.
some stuff like that that's just rough. Another character, Huskar, he is a technically you'd call him like a drain tank, except drain tanks, the health regen in Dota is ridiculous.
In a
like
good
49.
Way? Is it broken or no?
It is playable against, and I would say the way damage numbers work out, it's fine. It's pretty easy for a character to get like 13,000 damage on a thing, or nukes or some kind of that thing. So this is a character that, like, the lower his health is, the faster he attacks and the more health regen.
Oh, that sounds like Olaf.
Yeah, it sounds just like Olaf.
Kind of like Olaf if Olaf was on steroids. Because if you don't have someone who can nuke him, then he's unstoppable. But if you have someone who can, for instance, stop health regen and make it so his passive is worthless, essentially, then he just dies instantly.
Okay, so like a nice piece of Grievous Wounds, perhaps.
Yeah,
no one likes to buy. No one likes to buy it for some fucking reason, dude.
That's all funny.
Grievous Wounds, if it was 100%.
So
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, you had a quick question.
Oh, I was gonna say. God damn it! I was gonna say. Do you play ranked in both games?
Not too much. I'm kind of a casual gamer for the most part. I have no qualms with playing ranked in either, but it's kind of like I'm just here to have fun on them.
No one has fun in this game.
Yeah, I'm here to do some memey things, you know.
I'm just curious what makes a Dota player come to League and stay, because the last I've been aware is that the communities, I wouldn't say are at war, but they're not friendly.
Yeah. So the thing about Dota is you can't surrender.
Oh,
there is no
God,
surrender.
get me the fuck out.
I
never
That's
wanna...
probably a good thing, honestly, because maybe people stop being fucking turds.
Sometimes it's fine, and like there's a reason, like because the way mid game, early game, mid game, late game work, it's a lot more obvious. So like this is a champion who is worthless in the early game, but in the late game he'll totally fucking stomp everyone. And and there's like a lot more of those. Like you can think of a few in League of Legends who are like, I don't want to see this guy late game. Like he's gonna demolish everyone. Like
Vayne,
Vayne,
Kale, Kassadin,
yeah,
Nasus, maybe.
There's a couple of those characters that like I don't want to see these guys late game. But in Dota, you'll always have a guy who is the terror at late game. So the way the no surrendering, it's good because like you do have a late game, you do scale. Like it's not just a joke. You do actually will scale, and like there you do have a person who can 1v9. But in the games where the enemy team is just so much more coordinated than you, and they like cut off all of your farm, and since you can deny minions, you can actually cut the farm off so hard that it's like, okay, I can't do anything. This game's over. Why aren't they just ending the game already? And so you can kind of get held hostage a little bit more.
Okay.
So that's one of the things I don't like about Dota is the way if you get dominated in Dota, you're dominated. Whereas in League, at least you can surrender to get out.
Based on like what you've experienced, do you feel like Dota games last longer or League games last longer?
Dota games last around 30 to 40 minutes, and Dota games always end at 60 for the most part.
So you think on average, well, obviously they can't surrender.
Yeah.
But, damn,
I would say they feel a little bit longer.
I would not want to play a 60-minute game every fucking game. No, thank you.
That sounds terrible.
Does not happen very often, admittedly. Games, like, it's normal for a game to end at like 35 minutes. So that's like what I'd say is like, that's when your hard carries start, getting up a little bit more, and they're, able to do a bunch of damage and take out the team. And if the game does get to 60 minutes, it is a treat because of the way that there's some mechanics in there that make it very fun.
Okay.
We have Elder Dragon, is our fun late game thing,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Except it's not that late if you're good. But in Dota, there are straight up ridiculous, overpowered, broken things that happen around that. They just got rid of this item this last patch, but there was an item that increased your attack range by 400, and every auto attack would bump the person backwards by 100 units.
What?
And so there's a character called Sniper who, if he got that item, he had the best game of his life. Because no one can get near him. He can hit them from a mile away.
400 range?
400 attack range.
I'm just thinking like, what is rapid fire? 150 extra, I think.
I think so.
And then I'm like, if you're playing Senna, you need like 200 souls to even get anywhere near that.
Another thing to note about Dota is it's a lot more far away. You feel a lot. There's a character called Sniper for a reason, and he is a sniper. He feels like a sniper. Whereas like Caitlyn, she kind of feels like a sniper, but like only in the early game to some degree. People can you can get close to Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sniper, if he is being good about it, you won't touch him unless you have something to get in there. You need something to get in there.
One of the things I always felt like that was kind of weird with Dota is like the character naming is, I feel like, less creative.
Sniper.
It's like, yeah, it's so obvious. Sniper, any mage, like,
any mage.
yeah, axe,
Yep.
like. They just said, "Fuck it, we're just gonna tell you what this guy does. This is his name. This is what he does. Fuck off. You got nothing to figure out." Like, it's a good thing and a bad thing, right?
The characters do have like names, but yeah, they just go by their defining identity a lot of the time.
Okay.
So like, I know Axe's real name is like Mogul Khan or something like that.
Oh, okay.
It's something Khan. And Sniper, I don't know Sniper's real name. Who cares about Sniper? But there's definitely a lot less focus on the lore of the characters. Like, this is Sniper. He is a sniper. That is all.
And he's going to snipe you. Okay?
He's going to hit you from far away.
I feel like that's good for new players, though. Like, hey, look, identify this champion or character or hero or whatever they want to call them by what they do.
The problem with, I feel like in Dota versus League, when it comes to the new player experience, is League of Legends, the way you play characters and unlock characters is kind of smart. Because the cheap characters are simple for the most part. Yes. And so you're going to play the cheap character, or at least one of them, and he's going to be pretty simple. So, like, Baron was my first character. And that guy, roll your face on the keyboard and run at people. Pretty simple. So the characters are a lot easier to get. Whereas in Dota, you can accidentally pick, that character I was talking about, Meepo, and not have a fucking clue what's going on because of how many
really high ceiling cap.
I feel like when I started League, that was kind of like a situation I ran into, because I think I opened Sivir, who's simple, but like understanding how to use Sivir's ultimate correctly is not something you learn really until you know how the game is played. And it's like, cool, I want Sivir. She seems cool. And then I was like, what the fuck do you do with this thing? Like, I don't understand how to use it correctly. And that like kind of turned me off that champion.
Yep.
No, yeah, Nasus was my first, and that's pretty straightforward with that dude.
Very simple. Press Q.
I don't think I remember.
As long as you learn his Q.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think I mean, this was 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago now. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I just never. I was like, oh, you can get infinite damage off his Q. Yeah,
I remember June was trashing you for not using his Q right from when we very first started.
That dude was gatekeeping. Shut up. Shut up, dude. I'm a newbie.
Listen. Just press R.
Just press R.
That's all you need to know. Just fucking press
Why don't
R.
people hit R? Why don't fucking people hit R in their game? I don't know.
They don't. There's a lot of times like, dude, just fucking press R. And then there's times where you get trolled and it says that R is up and it's not.
How do you feel about I know Tyler mentioned the like communities. How do you feel about people you interact with in the game? I know they have their honor system is like based on a number, right? And like those same people with the same honor level play with each other, and then if you're like down in the fucking bottom, all those people are grouped together. Am I right on that one?
Yeah. Like so you have a behavior score, and I can't remember what the max is. And so the way that works is after a game is done or during a game, you can report a player
during game.
Oh man,
because fucking flaming my whole
they just added in like a couple of months ago where you can like report someone specifically. And so one of the things you can do in the game is you can drop your items on the ground and auto attack them and destroy them.
What?
Yeah, it's
what is this game.
The reason because the game's old is the reason why that's in there. Like the engine identity is old, that's why it's in there. But also the reason why you'd want to destroy an item is like there's a thing that drops from the equivalent of our Baron Nashor, and he drops like a heart that will revive the character when it's basically a GA.
Okay.
Except it drops from the Baron Nashor equivalent. And so if you're someone who is sneaky beaky, doesn't have the room to pick up the item, you can attack it and destroy it and run away, all sneaky beaky like. But so if a player were to
so like when you kill the creature, he drops like 5 of them or whatever.
It drops
everyone
one.
Gets to pick one. Oh, okay. So
it drops
someone
one
gets to pick it up.
One for this is the dude who will carry the game. This is the man who shall have 2 lives.
So okay, let me understand the strategy now, because I think it drops one, but like say your team didn't kill it, but it's there, but you can destroy the item before it can get picked up.
Yep. So like so I had a game a couple days ago where I was playing a stealth hero, and I'm like, I can't fucking kill any of these people. But I was hanging out while they were taking that, and I'm like, well, maybe I can do this. And so I went in there and destroyed it and died promptly afterward, and they just wasted it on my broke ass self that had nothing. I'm like, I'm worthless anyway. This is worth way more money than killing all of you.
So next question that I have for that strategy is if they kill it, can you swoop in and pick up the item if you mark all of them? Oh, Jesus Christ!
Interesting.
If you're sneaky enough, you can go to. One of the things that you have to drop, it like all it does is give you the revive. It doesn't give you any stats.
Yeah.
So sometimes people don't want that, and so it's hard. Sometimes like, oh man, which item am I gonna lose the stats on? And so sometimes people spend a little time there, like, oh, which one am I gonna do?
That's wild because like in League, when you kill the Herald,
it drops the eye, but only your team.
Yeah, only your team. You can deny it. It sits there for like 15 seconds.
Yeah, I think it's longer than that.
I feel like they're should they have be a way to like, so if you like ran over it as the enemy team, can you destroy it? What do you think? Like, do you think that would be better, or?
I think that would work for Dragon.
What do you mean?
Well, we have that with dunking with Smite would be the equivalent, you know.
Okay.
Stealing it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would be interesting if they ever decide to get rid of Smite to bring in a mechanic like that. Like if you kill the Elemental Drake and it drops whatever gift it gives, and then someone has to pick it up on your team for your team to get the bonus. I think they could do that there. I think they'd have a hard time doing that with Baron.
I think that would be very, at least if I'm thinking of pro play, that would be very anticlimactic. Because figure out how do you watch pro play at all?
I've watched some, yeah.
So it's like when one team is doing Baron, and then the other team has a Lee Sin. You see that Lee Sin fucking fly in, smite, and steal that Baron. It's fucking nuts. But just imagine if like you kill the Baron and it drops some like orbs, and then everyone just slaps each other in the face trying to get to it. I feel like that wouldn't be as exciting.
Okay, fair.
Definitely the way
for entertainment, purpose. It might be a lot better for actually gameplay, but like if crowds ever return, they're not going to go nuts over something like that. So
it's definitely a difference in the speed of the game too.
I was gonna say that Dota's I think seems a little more slower paced than League.
League is fucking 60-minute games.
So the big thing with like League of Legends, I feel like the entertainment. The reason why I play League is because the way my character works is like it's me doing the thing, whereas like I'm getting the skill shot. I got a sweet skill shot kind of thing. Or like I did something way faster than the other person. Like if I were to, I had a game where I stole Elder with Zach.
Oh, did you like launch over and smite?
Launch myself into it and got the Elder Steel and then murdered everyone. I didn't murder. I was dead, but
whatever. You got the steal, that's what counts.
They came in and swooped everything up. The way that kind of works, it definitely felt like I was the one who was super duper smart on doing that. Whereas in Dota, when you steal something like that, it's like they were dumb and didn't do their best to keep me away from here, kind of thing. So,
okay,
the way everything balance wise works is a lot different when it comes to like stealing kind of stuff.
In Dota, so there's equivalent to the Baron. Is there equivalent to Rift Herald or Dragons or what other neutral? Is there any other neutral aside from like jungle creeps? I'm talking about like big objectives.
Not particularly, no. So you have a lot more interactions with the jungle creeps than you do in League.
Is there more? Is there more jungle?
So there's
creeps?
a lot more. There are, I think, 6 on the top side. And
oh shit! One side. Jesus.
3, yeah, just talking like splitting the map down the middle. So like let's say the top lane, red side, top lane, red side. Yeah, right. Y'all catch me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Top lane red side. There's about like 6. And then
Camps?
bot lane red side,
Like
there's
6
about 3
camps?
Yep.
So 9 total on one
So
side?
like 9 total, yeah.
So because
on
in
one side of the map.
League there's 6 total. 3 and 3,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Okay, so a little bit.
And then every minute, like on the dot, every minute they will refresh unless someone is standing in their respawn zone.
What? Whoa,
So
that's interesting.
One of the things you can do because of this, and the best thing I like about Dota is the comeback mechanic involving the jungle. Because like you can stack the creeps.
So basically, you're saying don't farm any creeps and just farm jungle creeps.
So farm lane creeps, farm jungle creeps, and then leave your supports to go do what supports do in Dota. So there's 2 supports. You have your hard support and your soft support. Your hard support is the guy who will be broke, whose life is meaningless, and who will sacrifice everything for the better of the team.
He's the lamb, okay.
Yeah, he is the lamb. He is going to be doing his best to help the team. And the soft support might be doing that, but might be a little bit more selfish. They might like actually have items and stuff. Like it is not uncommon for the soft support, the hard support, I mean, to have boots, upgraded boots, 1 item, maybe working on their 2nd item by the time the game is done.
Jesus Christ. So you're basically saying the soft support is an Alistair and the hard support's a fucking Xerath.
Yeah, the hard support is broke. The hard support has nothing. Whereas the soft support might have some.
How does so you said like anybody just goes in and takes jungle creeps? Just like So is there, because like in League, the jungler will get bonus experience, bonus gold. Is there a jungling item? Like,
no.
So everybody gets equipped the same amount.
Actually, I lied. There is 1 technical jungle item.
But does it grant the person who has it extra for having it? Like
so the item is called the Hand of Midas, and what it does is it gives you a bunch of bonus gold. It's an active.
Okay.
There are a lot more actives in Dota. It is an active that you choose a monster. It can't be the highest level monsters that are in there, and it will give you like 2.5 bonus golden experience, and that's how you get rich. If you're like, I am greedy, I just want money, that's the item that does that.
What about XP? Is XP the last hit, like, or is it shared? Because like
XP is shared within a zone.
Because like,
so it's about a screen width.
Back in the day, and we're gonna sound like boomers, when laners would leash the junglers, they had to leave because otherwise they would absorb XP from the jungle.
Yep.
That's exactly how it works in Dota.
Okay, so it's like that, but now it's for the jungle creeps. It's only the last hit that will get all the experience.
Yep.
Okay.
And including if the enemy were to deny their minions, you still get the experience. It's just halved.
Interesting.
Oh, okay.
That's cool. Why you deny to half the experience gain.
That's cool.
This is weird. This is interesting.
Well, it's weird to think that like League spawned out of a game like this. You know what I mean? It came from this idea, but and for a long time people were like, oh, it's just a ripoff, it's just a ripoff, it's just a ripoff. But to me, it sounds like it's a fucking totally different game that just uses the 3-lane system.
They have gone a very different direction in comparison. One of the particular things, so like lane setups in League, it's top lane, jungle, mid lane, bot lane, and support in the bot lane.
Yeah.
And in Dota, you have 3 different options that are viable at the moment. One is the hard carry with the hard support, and then the mid laner, and then the off lane or 3 position and the hard, the soft support. That is your standard option. Everyone will generally do that. That's how the bots in the game work.
So like
it is safe.
2-1-2?
Yeah, 2-1-2.
Okay.
Then your second option is 3-1-2. No, not 3-1-2. 3-1-1. And then the off lane, there are a couple that technically can be junglers and just can farm the jungle early.
That's so wild, dude.
The jungle in Dota is dangerous.
Are the creeps stronger? Like really strong?
Like really strong.
They're
I know
pretty
that.
strong. So the jungle has 4 different levels of camps. You have the easy camps, the medium camps, the hard camps, and then the ancient camp. Ancient camp is worth the most money, but it is the hardest one to take early levels, and vice versa for the it goes down a lot.
That's so weird. Like in League, if you don't have a jungler on your team, your fucking dude is trolling. Like, there's no how are you gonna win?
Yep.
Okay, but like I don't know if you've ever seen any old videos or hear anybody who's played since like alpha and then beta and stuff like that. Junglers didn't exist because the jungle was too fucking hard to farm. And that's what this sounds like. It sounds like the creeps were way too fucking strong. The buffs weren't worth sitting around for because it was way too hard to kill them. You needed to have like 3 people to kill the lizard for the red buff, or the rock for the blue buff. I think it was, I don't remember what it was called, a golem or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's called golem now, but I think it had a different name. Yeah. So I remember it being in hearing about people talk about how hard it was, and then even as a new player, when you would play those first bot games, there was no bot jungler. It was a 2-1-2 setup with 2 people top and 2 people bot and a person mid. And you played like that until you learned how to use the jungle when someone on the other team clapped your cheeks. in a normal game, like, what is that person doing? There's only one person up here. How are we losing? So that sounds like that's kind of where it spawned, and people just in the League decided to go a different direction, like you said, and it evolved into its own 2-1-1-1-1.
It's what's also weird
Sorry,
is
3 ones.
it feels like Riot has like forced the lanes to be what they are. Like,
no, absolutely.
Like, was it just the season they introduced plates? Was it this
no,
season?
that was
that last year?
It was in last season.
Because before plates, wow, I guess before plates there was still damage reduction on turrets everywhere except bot lane. And then before that, you could have lane swaps where the bot lane would go top, because the whole point of your bot lane is it's a 2-person lane. You want to take that turret and then rotate somewhere else. Now you can't do, well, after 5 minutes you can, but because like some champions could like can't do well into, so like you'd swap your bot lane top lane to deal with like a useless top laner that can't 2v1, and then you would have a top laner that can like 1v2. So then you'd swap, and it would be like, okay, we're just gonna. It was a better strategy, but they can't do that now. Like you're forced to go bottom.
Yep.
You are, and the only variance you have in bot lane now is a mage that can clear waves. It has to be someone that has massive wave clear, like a Ziggs or even a Swain. Because if you're not playing those champions bot lane, go back to mid lane. You don't need. It's pointless.
That is a huge difference between the two. Is freedom of character role.
They can go wherever.
Yeah, so there are like a couple characters in Dota where like you don't want to have these guys. These guys don't need money; they just waste it.
Yeah.
And there's a couple characters that like this guy is basically worthless without money. There's a couple characters like that, but like for now, right now, a character has found another role to play. He is normally a soft support, where he will like just kind of harass the lane, but I don't know exactly how they buffed him, but now he's like a wonderful off lane carry, where he actually like gets beefy and tanks up and beats the crap out of people.
It's interesting because I feel like in League, the way
champions are sort of resigned to where they're going based on their kit.
I was gonna say though, but like I feel like nowadays any champion can fucking jungle.
Yeah, well, that's what they're trying to push. That's definitely what they're trying to push with the Yasuo and the Talon and the guy. Remember old TF jungle?
Which is weird. Like they want diversity, but sometimes they just buff these champions like
Morgana.
Yeah, like that was
yeah. Like what is this?
Like cool, Morgana's good, but all they're doing is just making it so they're healthier when they can just clear the whole fucking map of the jungle creeps and then come out of the jungle full HP and gank. I feel like sure they want diversity, but it's just like that's just such the most like oh, you know what, whatever, we're just lazy. Just make sure they do 4 million damage to the jungle creeps now. And
Yeah, I feel
I
like
don't
there's
think that's a good
less
idea.
risk for a high reward. And they're not laying into
Oh, yeah,
like
it
the
was
high risk, high reward system.
It's
Like
just super low
Morgana was
risk.
not a high risk jungler, but
Yeah,
she had a hell of a high reward if you executed right.
Yeah. Which so
I mean, Morgana's still Morgana. The Q is the Q is the Q is the Q. It lands, you're sitting there for 3 seconds. I don't care who you are, and then you're gonna take a W puddle underneath you, and you're just gonna. Some cases you might just be half health, just from a QW, and you're like, "What the fuck just happened?" But
so
she doesn't need gold to do that. You know, her Q is her Q. It's the stun is what's important of it, or the snare, I guess it is what's important. Whereas like Master Yi, he needs that gold.
That's
He is a
another
high risk, high reward.
That's another interesting difference in the games. Spells are a big difference. In League of Legends, spells have scaling, so whatever that is.
Okay.
So like attack damage scales your Q on Yi, so
Yeah.
you've got to build attack damage, you know. Whereas in Dota, there is only one kind of thing that does that, and that is a thing that changes your basic attack into something else. And besides that, your spells are the same.
So they don't increase in damage?
Nope. They have a hard limit where there's like a couple of things that you can do to increase them like a little bit, but nothing like you won't see Morgana Q. You can't see a character's like basic ability to do 1,000 damage for the most part, unless it's supposed to do 1,000.
Dude, no wonder games last an hour.
So what noodle fight the whole time?
That's so weird.
The differences with like the way scaling works is so there's a character pure damage, more common. It's not. There's a bunch of characters that have pure damage. My favorite character does pure damage.
I'm assuming that's like true damage.
The way, yeah, true damage, pure damage.
Yeah.
Thing that pierces through.
Damage you can't mitigate, right?
Yep, doesn't mitigate nothing. And so there's a character who his name is Enigma. He has a black hole that does level 6. You get the black hole, does 600 damage. End of story of a lot of characters that are weaker in that game. It does 600 damage and it will stun a person for 4 seconds, and so you can layer on a bunch of other shit on top
of that
to kill that person. Yeah.
It's Malzahar.
It's Malzahar. If Malzahar's ulti was AoE.
It is.
It is.
One stun.
AoE. It'll stun everyone in the area.
Oh,
so like Aurelion Soul Q, if it's big enough.
Yeah. Aurelion, if Aurelion Soul and Malzahar ulti had a baby, that's how that would work. It does pure damage.
It's actually disgusting. Good.
It is
Lord.
pretty ridiculous, and that's just level 1 of the ultimate. It scales up, I think, to 1,000 at the max level.
I know you have a further point. I'm just curious, how are health pools in that game? Because I feel like 600 sounds like a lot of damage for even a level 1 skill. Yeah, but I'm thinking League health pools, so I don't...
So they're comparable to League, except tanks are different. Tanks are a lot more different, I would say. So like your hard carry, depending on... there's a lot to explain there, actually. I'm just now realizing.
You don't have to go that in depth. Yeah. Just if they're comparable to League for the most part, that answers that question.
Depending on who your carry is, is how. So like so like there's a character called Drow. She is kind of like Ashe, almost exactly actually, except she has a better E, I would say.
And she's a dark elf, obviously.
Yeah, she's a dark elf, and bow and arrow dark elf. Makes people go slow.
Sounds like a Drow.
Actually, they're exactly the same character, almost to the T. Except ultimate and their E is different. That is the only difference between the two.
Okay.
And so they have comparable health pools, I would say. They like maybe 1,500, maybe 2,000 around that area.
Interesting.
Whereas, like the character I would say is closest to Tryndamere, that character would have like 3,000 health, give or take.
Okay, that's more than Tryndamere would ever have unless he's building tank. But okay.
Yeah, because of the way stats work is a big difference between League and Dota, and that's why you can have. That's why any character can be a carry to some degree.
Nice.
So like The way stats work is just different.
No. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's a pretty fair explanation because you don't have to get that in depth. Because obviously, there's sounds to me compared to when we started this call, however many minutes ago that was. I thought the games are a lot more similar, and like the further we go, the further this canyon is just growing. I'm like, oh my god, it's so drastically different. The only similarity is the fact that there's 3 lanes and a jungle. To me,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I'm seeing that's similar.
In
And then some of the
Dota,
characters are somewhat similar.
in Dota, do they rework older champions?
Occasionally.
Like big reworks, like League style, or what?
I wouldn't say so. I haven't been around for one of those big reworks.
Okay, so
Most of the time they're like, let's make this character not look so stupid. Is the big reason.
Visual. Okay.
Yeah, most of the time they're visual and their gameplay remains relatively the same. But they do a lot more little stuff within a character. Is one of the reasons why they don't change a whole lot. So like, it's very easy to see. Like, we just have one right now. There is a character who is a skeleton guy, archer, does that kind of thing, and he was out of the meta for a while because his abilities just didn't match up with the game anymore. He had ability, it's like, okay, what the fuck does this character do anymore? So they just changed one of his abilities, and now he's one of the best characters in the game right now. And so they do little things more often than they do a big, huge change in the character.
I'm cool with that though, because that helps keep the identity of the character through.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at someone like Dr. Mundo, and I feel like they try to keep his identity the same, but he's definitely a different character now.
I think
very
sometimes they need to make it a different.
Oh no, sometimes they need to.
Yeah,
he was like, especially Mundo was so absolutely outdated. It didn't fit, like you said, didn't fit in the game anymore. It didn't make sense.
I think the Urgot one is really,
that was the biggest one, dude.
I think that's like one of the best that because Urgot. Do you
even Volibear wasn't bad.
Volibear was good.
Volibear was good.
Have you seen? Were you playing when Urgot was still old Urgot?
Original Urgot?
I have not. I was not. No, but I am aware of old
You've
Urgot.
seen it, right?
Oh,
I have seen the.
What was his Tyler? What's his alter? The
kinetic position reverser.
That
and we just sit there for 2 seconds while I'm trying to siphon you, and I'm supposed to be getting tankier. But no, I've just immobilized myself and immobilized you, and then we're gonna switch positions, and we're both gonna die, or I'm just gonna get murked because that skill fucking sucked.
Okay,
that is.
Hold on, I'm trying to think. It's okay. I know his Q was a little skill shot, and then the E was the canister. And if you landed the canister, your Q would.
Then your Q is free
auto.
What
was his W? Was it just a shield?
I think it was just a shield.
Like that was it.
That's it. Yeah.
And I want to say his passive just like shred armor or something dumb like that.
No, I think that was. I think that was the Q passive. I don't even know what his old passive was.
I don't know, but yeah,
well,
it's like, oh,
I'm gonna mission to look while you guys keep talking.
We're gonna give you a suppression, and you're gonna swap spots. No, but yeah, Urgot's rework was fucking wonderful.
That's another thing is they don't let characters get that old. Like they might let them get visually that old, but they don't let a character fall so old in the wayside that like this character, if you pick him and someone picks a new character, you're doomed.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's weird because well, obviously new champs that come out now, like every champ that comes out now is insanely broken. It feels like they're broken. They can fly around the map, but like we're seeing the resurface of like Tryndamere, who's completely outdated. And he does one thing, and that's just spin at you, auto attack, and then not die. That's all he does. Yep. All right, we got an update.
I've got the Urgot stuff. Okay,
let's read it. Let me hear
this. His original passive is called Zon Touch Bolt Augmenter.
What?
Urgot's passive allows for his basic attacks and his Acid Hunter to reduce the damage dealt by his target by 15% for 2.5 seconds.
Wait, hold on. What?
It made him tankier. When he attacked you, it reduced the target's damage to Urgot for 15%. Or no, actually, maybe it was just an all-around reduction. I can't tell.
So it lowers the damage output?
15% reduction, yeah.
That's fucking broken.
Said, this passive allows Urgot to duel very effectively and has established him as a counter carry that he is most frequently used as. His W was Terror Capacitor. It's a 5-second shield,
okay,
causing his basic attacks and Acid Hunter to apply as slow for 1.5 seconds. And his final basic ability was Noxian Corrosive Charge, a skill shot that shreds armor and allows for his Acid Hunter to lock onto affected targets, extending the range and removing the skill shot restraints of the projectile.
Wild.
And I'll read Hyperkinetic Position Reverser for fun. It allows him to suppress and reposition the target enemy champion, causing nearby enemies to flee and slowing the initial target at the end of the channel. I don't remember it causing anybody to flee. I remember just getting fucking absolutely wrecked the second I used it. So
yeah, I don't remember it fearing. It makes sense why his ult now still fears. Like, I guess it kept that. That's interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, he's definitely different. He was also called Urgot the Headsman's Pride, not the Dreadnought. So
good job,
interesting
Ryan.
champion.
Good job, Ryan.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you. That was a classic champion that became really useless for like 3 years before they did anything to him. And then right when they decided they were gonna do something to him was when you started seeing him in mid. You would see Keen and Bjergsen playing Urgot mid, and it was actually insane because it was stupid strong, and everyone was wondering why anybody was touching this champion because he had been useless for so long. Well, I don't even think they did anything to him. It was just like, oh, we'll take damage reduction. Fuck it.
That's my point I was getting on about Tryndamere. Like, they haven't done anything to him, but now you're seeing it everywhere. And he's
very basic and straightforward. The reason they're not going to do anything, I think, is because he's a good beginner champion for people to learn how to play.
I mean, they did that to Warwick, though. Warwick was a very basic beginner champion, and they kept him. I think, well, he has a skill shot now, but
Warwick's more difficult to play now because of the way his skills interact.
His old Doom, I don't know if you knew. Have you seen what the old Warwick looks like?
I don't think so.
So his ult now is the faster.
Please put this up in the video too. Like, cover my face with Warwick, old Warwick model, and do the same thing with Urgot when you mentioned him.
Oh my god! But old Warwick was so one-dimensional. His ult was just a blink and it would suppress. So like,
oh, it was so dumb.
It's technically a skill shot now. Like, you're running and then you launch in the air and you have to hit someone. So if you're in range of the enemy champion, all you just hit R on them, and then Warwick could just teleport to them and just suppress them.
I think I actually remember seeing this.
It was so fucking stupid. I remember everyone complained about Warwick too because he was actually a decent champion. And then there was that one time before he got reworked when he started getting played a lot in high elo, and people were fucking complaining. Even in pro, people were complaining about the fact that it's a point and click suppression, not unlike Malzahar, except for the fact that it really fucked you. Or Malzahar's wasn't as bad because Malzahar had to place the E. I think it was the E, right?
The Malefic Visions or whatever.
Or no, he had to place the W. He had to place the pool and then ulti before they decided they were just going to change it and add the pool to the ulti.
Oh, okay. No, you're right.
His passive used to be spiders.
Right. His W is spiders now. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And so, like, Malzahar was useless. Like, he could suppress you, but it was useless. Where Warwick suppressed you, did a shit ton of damage, healed a shit ton, and it was a point and click. And I was like, what the fuck is this? What am I supposed to do to that?
I remember he did not have... Did he have, like, a blood sense? He didn't have that.
No, but he had I think you could just hit Howl to run faster or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was that... Because I know his W just gave him attack speed steroid.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same. I think it's pretty much the same now.
Well, because now it's
trail.
You get the trail, yeah, and then you also get more attack speed based on how lower HP.
I feel like I like the trail too, though, because it gives him more
gives him agency,
interactability. Yeah, and it also makes it more interactive to play. Like, you're not like, oh, let me just fucking press W, go run. It's like, no, there's a target, and I have to chase that.
Well,
target.
It's like his lore too. Like, he's hunting you. Like, you actually feel like you're being hunted, which is fucking sick.
It also helps new players be like, oh, there's a trail here. I should follow that.
It's coming from me. Yeah. Hold on, I should run away.
So it kind of helps new players like get an idea of like, hey, maybe I should go kill people.
And I think that's probably why he's not played in higher elos and in higher like pro, because it's sort of telegraphed in that way. But it's good for the lower to mid. I think even up to diamond is still a really good champion. I mean, the champion's ridiculous. Just throwing that out there. He's still fucking ridiculous. Right. But in the higher elos, he's got a easy pattern to recognize.
in higher elos also, it's a little bit harder to carry because he's kind of like a tankish kind of not entirely bruiser, but not a killer.
No, for sure.
I have a super scuffed. I have the 2 images on the video right now. It's super scuffed, but I got old Warwick next to Tyler, and I got old Urgot next to me. So we're gonna leave that up there until the end of this video.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah,
wait, does that Warwick have pizza feet? Like backwards pizza feet?
No.
Okay.
I think he did though, but I can't see it on this.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so that's interesting that they don't really rework that often, or not like major overhaul.
Well, I think what you're getting at is that they're slightly overhauling these consistently and keeping them fresh and keeping them updated, so they don't have to do a thing where like this gets forgotten about and they go, by the way, here's 3 new skills.
There's definitely a like. There are some characters that are like, okay, this guy's not played much because he's bad right now, and it's just because that character is bad right now, not just because the character is outdated. So like right now there's a character called Troll Warlord, and he is an auto attacker. That's about it. And so he just gets, every time he gets an attack, he goes a little bit faster on the next attack, so he just ends up doing a shit ton of attack speed related
like
stuff.
Jax. Okay.
Kind of like if Jax got even faster because of him auto attacking the same target. And
Jax with
the
Ginsu's
way
got it.
Yeah, Jax with Ginsu's.
Old Ginsu's.
Old Ginsu that like stacked to infinity kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that character, just because there's a lot of characters that are like, okay, fine, hit me, I don't care. And so there's a lot of that kind of stuff that's like, okay, this character can't really help right now. But like in a season where there's a lot more the longer fights that are like way drawn out and less CC and that kind of stuff, then he'll be back in the meta.
Yeah. Meta shifts do that, and I think that's normal and that's natural. I think that's good. It's when they're like, okay, we need to shift the meta, and you start tinkering, and then you start seeing other things pop up. I think that's a good, natural, a healthy part. But when you have champions like old Yorick, that was literally unplayable.
God. Yep.
Unplayable.
Removed from the game for however long.
Yes. What was the old joke? Yorick walks into a bar. There's no counter.
No counter.
That is definitely not a thing that happens in Dota, because
it sounds like they're trying to be on top of that.
Even if a character is like uncountered by other characters, there's definitely an item somewhere that will counter that character because of how items work with actives. There's like so like that character I was talking about earlier who has a lot of health regen. There is an item that stops that, and so you just get that item. And so you just have to be smart enough to like, oh, this is the item that does this. And that's where the learning curve of Dota is a lot harder, because that's something that you can do.
Well, you were also telling me the other day that there's like toggle items.
Yep, toggle items are a big thing.
Yeah, instead of just pressing like, oh, Zonia's now, thank you. It's like, no, you toggle that or whatever. Yep, obviously not that particular item, but
like
that would be broken to toggle yourself into stasis and just stay there all game.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I can't think of an item in League that would draw any similarities because of the way League's items work. Haven't they removed like a lot of active items over the last like couple years?
They have. There's just not that many actives in general.
Yeah,
a lot of the active items that you have that have an active are support based. Like, hey, I'm linking with this person. So Knight's Vow that has a link, Zeke's that has a link. I would say supports probably have the most actives out of anybody.
I can think
the wards and the if you're playing a tank support, you have your Locket, your Zeke's, your Knight's Vow. And almost to the point where like there's too many fucking actives. My hand doesn't reach that far on the keyboard from QEWR all the way to 7. Like
I can definitely think that there is not for like a carry yet the only Zonia's and Quicksilver, and that's about
I can think of. Consider Ghostblade too.
Ghostblade, yeah, Ghostblade.
Mikhail's is a supports version of QSS.
Yeah.
So your carry doesn't have to buy one. Like Dude, I've literally played games where I'm like, I have too many actives. I can't even use them all because my hand can't get that far on the keyboard while I'm in the heat of battle or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, sorry.
There's a lot of one of the characters that the Dota active items. I feel like it's the positioning, the auto positioning is a big thing for me. So like my keybinds for Dota and League, and I like if I play support, I don't care about it. Is like all of it's just above, up and down, and I can touch all the keys. Because there's a character called Invoker who has 12 spells, give or take, that he can switch between. And so it's QWERDF, and then that character also likes to build, if he's a support, he'll build a ton of active items, and if he's a carry, he'll build at least 3 active items. And so I definitely think the difference between the games, though, is in League, you're also paying attention to I have to throw my Q out this direction, whereas in Dota, you have to throw your thing out maybe that direction if that's the kind of ability it is. That is the one character that has the most skill shots. Yeah, I'm thinking about him like this guy actually has all the skill shots.
Yes. It's
definitely an interesting difference in the way active items play out, because like there's a thing a carry will build on most carries will have this is a carry will have a boot that toggles between 3 different settings. What? And then back on I'm just gonna run down how stats work a little bit.
Yeah.
So your character, you have a strength hero, an agility hero, an intelligence hero. And so all that means is if that character has the stat, they get a little bit bonus damage, attack damage. And then strength gives health, agility gives armor and attack speed, and intelligence gives mana and a little tiny little amount of spell amplification. And so these boots, you can toggle them between those 3. And if you're good, you will, when you need to heal up, it kind of does the same thing Ornn does. If you've played Ornn recently, where like when you build a health crystal, you'll heal up the percentage that you have. So if you get a health item, you don't want to have your boots on the strength setting because you want it to have a lower total amount. So that way, when you switch back to your strength setting, you have a higher amount of health in total. So there's like little things like that. If you're good, you do that stuff. And I'm like, I put it on the selected one, move on, don't care.
Yeah, that's like confusing as shit.
Yeah, and that's the biggest reason why I think Dota is unapproachable, is because of how that kind of stuff works.
Well, and you were saying like it's slower pace, so like guys could be sitting there tinkering with what item to get rid of while there's the free GA or whatever. And I feel like you have a little bit more time to understand what it is you're doing, because people aren't like dead now sprinting back to lane, getting there.
There are definitely a few characters.
Yeah. But I feel like from your description is like you have a little bit of time to think about what you're doing. Instead of League, like you have to have that idea before you go into the game. Mm-hmm. You have to know what it is that you want to do, what order you want to do it, and maybe make a situational call here or there. You know what I mean?
I definitely think like the level of split-second decisions in League is every decision in League is most of the time a split-second decision, besides like split pushing.
Yeah.
And that's about all that's like, okay, this is a little bit of planning out. And then like also freezing, if you're okay at that. But besides those 2 things, everything else in the game, it's like, okay, I see that the jungler's down there. Where am I going to go? What should I do with this information? Is this time to push the tower? Is this time to run down there and help them? And so there's a lot of that kind of stuff that makes your decision making different. Whereas in Dota, you have an idea of like, okay, this is a character who can get on me. Do I know where this character is? Is this character alive? Does this character see me? And then like, okay, what do I do with this information? It'll still take a little bit for that character to get to me.
Okay.
So particularly the 2 characters I can think of, there's only one character that's like, this is the split-second decision character that's like, okay, there's 2 characters I can think of, and there's a guy called Zeus. It's just Zeus. Everything you can think of the Greek god Zeus, this guy kind of does that kind of stuff. And then there's another character who can attack everyone at the same time, no matter where they are on the map.
Oh
and
my
so
god.
that character and Zeus are the two characters that are like, okay, I need to make a split-second decision on, okay, I'm about to reach less than the kill threshold of health. What the hell should I do to maybe not die or to die to something that won't be that? Because
nice. Okay.
when you can't just deny allied creeps, you can also deny allies and kill your teammate.
I never want to play this game.
Friendly fire activated.
Friendly
Holy
fire
shit.
activated. There's
Holy shit.
there's some fun things to do in there, and it makes DP poison champions in that game like the most stressful thing in the world.
That sounds awful. Yeah.
Like you're out, like let's say you walk into a Teemo shroom in Dota, if that was an equivalent, and you're okay, should I kill my ally so that the enemy doesn't get it, or will my allies survive, and will I be a dick if I kill him? And so there's stuff like that where it's like, oh no, I don't know what to do right now. There's some fun things like that in there that you can do. I've definitely done it at the wrong time, and definitely been sad when my ally didn't do it to me. Those are some fun things.
Well, cool, man. I think we're at a good
Let me ask one more question.
Here. Oh yeah. Oh, dude, ask away.
Which game do you prefer more? What game do you have more fun with?
That's a legit question.
I would say I have more fun playing Dota alone, whereas I have more fun in League playing with other people.
I feel like I can see that because like I almost don't play this game without playing with other people.
Yeah, it's very rare that I play alone.
The biggest
usually if I do, I'll play TFT or ARAM or something.
In League, you are a lot more. You don't talk to your allies, for instance. Like your allies, if you talk to them, they're gonna start, going off on you. Like you might get a couple. You might get a couple of little fun moments here and there, but in Dota, there is voice chat. You can talk to your team, and most of the time, if you start talking to your team, everyone kind of chills out and doesn't get as incredibly toxic as normal.
Good to know. I had no idea they had voice chat.
Yep, it's great. It's sometimes. Don't play on EU. That's the other cool thing. You can play with your friends. There's no region lock,
Oh,
so, that's cool.
Wow.
Yeah. It's linked to your Steam profile, so.
I mean, you sit there and play with really bad lag if you play on EU?
They have fixed. There's an update that's made it a little bit less hard to last hit, because I think that's the big thing in Dota when it comes to lag is okay, last hitting's different. I have had 300 ping on NA and still managed to land the skill shot to some degree.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So I think the way the games work, lag doesn't hurt you as much. Besides last hitting. Last hitting is the only oh fuck, I need low ping.
Wow.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be it.
I think that's a good stopping point for us for today. I mean, obviously, this is something if people are interested, we could further explore.
I learned a lot. That is wild.
Or Dean and I can do the unthinkable and actually play a game and record it and get shafted and post that.
Actually, no, that might be really fucking funny.
That would be be funny. But thank you for being here, Doom. I do appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us.
Fun.
We may have to have you back if we decide to play to play.
Hell yeah.
Doom, and I think Dom said he's played Dota before, and Steven, we'd have a nice 5 squad for a bunch of idiots to goof off and Doom carry the game. So I mean,
yeah, man.
No, this was really fun. This was really enlightening. I said, I don't really know shit about Dota. I've watched professional for a little bit, in the background of doing something else, but I didn't really pay attention to what's going on. So I was like, I don't really understand what's happening here.
I definitely think that the animosity between League and Dota is a little unfounded to some degree, because they just end up playing so much. They're similar, but they're not that similar.
Yeah. I feel like people are just butthurt from things that have happened 10 years ago, and they're just holding on to that grudge.
It's like cats and dogs, man. You should like both of them. They're not that different, but there's differences between them that,
That's fair. I think it's a fair comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Well, cool, dude. Do you want to shout anything out? A personal Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. I don't know any.
Add me on Steam if you want to play some Dota. Over at the Duke of Doom. Just type all that in there, and you'll get me. Change the O's into zeros, and there you go.
I actually have your name right on the screen too, so it's there.
Yep. Beautiful, so everyone can see that. Awesome, man. Well, thanks again for being here, dude.
Yep.
This was fun. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed it.
Good time.
Teaching some dingleberries about something else.
Everybody who's listening, go ahead and hit the like button if it's on YouTube. You're watching on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify.
Click the bell on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify.
We're gonna be trying to upload twice a week now. So, this will be coming out on Monday, and then we also have 11.19 patch, which is coming out, I think Wednesday. Should be Wednesday. So that'll be up on Thursday. Follow us on Twitter. We got our Twitter handles right there. I'll put some links in the description of the YouTube video. Follow us
on Instagram. According to Low Elo.
Yep, we are getting a logo made, and once that is done, we will be making a Twitter. So we'll
also have a nice new overlay as well. Working on that too.
We're trying
something more updated.
Trying to make it a little sexier.
Working on it. But
we're getting there. But if you guys have any other suggestions, nitpicks, anything, come at us. We're more than happy to
nitpicks, picks. Hit me in the comment section. Yeah, I think that's it, dude.
We'll see you guys next time.
Later.
Laters.